Let's be honest, prayer is beautiful, but praying in public, that's complicated. See, for Muslims around the world, prayer isn't just a thing we do when it's convenient. It's 5 times a day, every day. Whether you're at work, at the mall, on a road trip, or catching a flight, it doesn't stop. So naturally, you end up praying in some very unusual places. I still remember the first time I had to pray in public. I was at a university orientation, surrounded by people I didn't know. I felt awkward just thinking about unrolling my prayer mat. I looked around, hoping for a quiet space, but found none. So I slipped into a stairwell, heart racing, palms sweating. As I began to pray, I was convinced someone would walk in, laugh, or worse, say something rude. But no one did. And in that quiet corner, I realized something important. The world doesn't stop for your faith. You make space for it, wherever you are. And that was the beginning of a journey of praying in all the weirdest and most random places. A storage room at work, behind a car at a gas station, the back of a classroom, an airport corridor, a dressing room in a department store, a parking lot, a park bench. Even once in the grass behind a food truck festival. Each time I had the same thoughts. Will anyone see me? Will they think I'm strange? And yet, each time something powerful happened. I started to realize prayer wasn't about perfection. It was about presence. And when I look back, those are the moments I remember most vividly. Not the fancy masjid prayers with glowing chandeliers, but the gritty, imperfect ones in the middle of real life. I once worked at a busy office. My shift started at 9 a.m. and ended at 5 p.m., which meant at least 2 prayers fell during work hours, but there was no prayer room. So I did what many Muslims do. I searched. I explored every floor of the building. I checked meeting rooms, hallways, empty offices. Nothing. Finally, I found it. The janitor's storage room. That small, dusty space became my sacred zone. And you know what? It taught me something. Sometimes Allah gives you just enough. Not luxury, not convenience, but enough. Still, praying in public spaces doesn't always feel easy. Sometimes you're stared at. Sometimes people walk by and look confused or even uncomfortable. Sometimes the fear isn't about being seen, it's about being misunderstood. Like the time I was at the airport and I found an empty gate to pray. As I bowed into sujud, a security guard walked over. My heart froze. But instead of stopping me, he waited patiently. And when I finished, he nodded respectfully and said, "I've seen that before. You're good." And just like that, I was reminded. Not everyone judges. Some people are simply curious. Of course, there have also been awkward moments. Once I prayed next to a vending machine and a guy walked over mid-salah to grab a soda. I could hear him fumbling with change while I was in ruku. He looked so confused when I stood back up, like he wasn't sure if he should apologize for interrupting me. Then there are the kind ones, the allies. A friend who offers their office, a coworker who guards the door, a stranger who says, "Take your time." These people don't realize it, but they make the world easier for us, and the reality is, it's not always possible to pray on time. Sometimes there's genuinely no clean place, no privacy, no safety. And in those moments, delaying the prayer becomes the wise choice. And that's okay. I used to feel guilty about it, like I was failing, like I wasn't trying hard enough. But then I remembered, Allah is not a taskmaster. He's merciful. He knows what's in your heart. He knows when you're doing your best. So here's what I've learned. If you're a Muslim navigating this world, workplaces, campuses, airports, public parks, you're not alone. There are some simple things that help. Carry a foldable prayer mat. Download a Sibla app. Keep wudu when you leave home if you can. Scout for quiet corners. And most of all, don't be afraid to ask. Seriously? Ask. "Hi, I'm Muslim. Is there a small quiet place I can use for a quick prayer?" You'd be surprised how many people are kind and accommodating. I know it's not always easy. You might feel watched. You might feel vulnerable, but But the truth is, public prayer reminds us of something huge. That Islam isn't just a religion for the masjid, it's a lifestyle. It follows you everywhere you go. And the more you own it with sincerity and humility, the more confident you become. Not because you're trying to prove something, but because you're doing something deeply personal, deeply spiritual, and deeply human. Every time I place my forehead on the ground in a public space, I remember I am part of something bigger. I am connected to billions. I am praying the same way the Prophet did 1400 years ago. And that's powerful.